Well, the South Gauteng High Court is hearing an urgent application to interdict the ANC's Gauteng Provincial Conference, which is currently underway in Benoni, east of Johannesburg. The urgent application was filed by Jabulani Sithole. He's from one of the branches that have had their votes quarantined during last month's Ekurhuleni Regional Conference. For the latest, we're now joined by SABC News reporter Natasha Phiri, who's been there from the beginning. And Natasha, if yesterday was dramatic, today the theme continued, drama unfolding.
Definitely, Peter, and more drama unfolding. I mean, earlier on, just speaking to our colleague Bongi Wezwani, I said that, it's different, well, the same script, but except in a different province, Peter. Of course, court action again by Jabulani Sithole from Ward 83 in Ekurhuleni. And of course, he's one of those affected members of the ANC whose vote has been quarantined from those 5 branches. We do, though, however, understand that delegates are actually in plenary right now, and of course they are tasked with the issues of credentials. Just speaking to some sources, they had said that the Ekurhuleni region had actually raised the contentious issue of credentials and has been tasked with the issue so far. But of course, we're also joined by the provincial spokesperson here, Mr. Bones Modise, who will give us an update as to what's happening in terms of those court proceedings. Mr. Modise, it's probably 2 hours, nearly 2 hours after, that issue of the South Gauteng High Court, I beg your pardon. But I mean, just please give us an update. What's going on right now in court?
Well, Natasha, with regards to the courts, what we can tell you is that the ANC has taken a decision to defend itself, and it has put together a legal team that is at the court as we speak. And I was trying to check with one of our legal guys that is that side, and he says the court is still in session, and he will come back to me probably in the next 10 or 15 minutes just to give me an indication of what's happening. But from the experience, it doesn't look like it's something that could fly. From his own legal experience, it doesn't look like it's something that could fly, especially around issues of procedure and so on and so forth. But he will come back to me as soon as everything is sorted. Yeah. And
what's currently going on behind these closed doors in plenary? We do understand some delegates have been telling us that Ekurhuleni once again is a contentious issue. Delegates from this region had been raising the issue of credentials.
It's part of the plenary sessions. It's part of the history of the ANC. It's part of the culture of the ANC that credentials will always be a contentious issue, and everyone will always speak. I mean, there was an issue around the Youth League that has been flagged by plenary. The Women's League had no problem with their credentials. The Veterans League did not have a problem with their credentials, and each and every region would have raised their own issues pertaining to credentials. In the ANC, it's accepted. It's not something new. We know that every time credentials are presented, there will always be those issues where one will feel that, hey, but if this one is not in, it means our numbers and so on and so forth. Because remember, at the end of the day, it's a game of numbers. So you will try anything that you think is possible to win this or lose that and so on and so forth. It's like a football game. Someone will fake an injury just to win a penalty and so on. So yeah, we are not worried as the ANC. This is what we expected. Anywhere you go, as long as it's a conference of the ANC, once credentials are presented, if this robust discussion don't take place, then you must be worried. So we're happy as the ANC that the robust discussions are taking place. Therefore means once we adopt the credentials, the conference is in session. Now we're moving. We'll be cruising nicely towards the end of business, and we'll definitely achieve what we wanted to achieve. The good thing that we have done is that we have already started with the commissions whilst we were busy with credentials and so on. So we've clubbed certain commissions together. We already made presentations ready, for commissions. The organizational report and the treasurer's report will form part of the commission, so they will be discussed in commissions. But from tomorrow, you will see there's going to be a lot of people that will be bringing to you as media people, chairpersons of different committees, commissions that will engage with and tell you what is the political direction, what is the policy position and the policy proposals that were taken to the National Policy Conference. So we have designed a program that will enable us to live here, having elected leadership and having discussed commissions and having a proper declaration.
But the issue of time and so many delays, what does this speak to? I mean, some people have been highly critical of the ANC, especially here in Gauteng, seeing that last year you guys won 3 key metros. One would have expected that you would have gotten your house in order.
I mean, it's a work in progress. We'll definitely get there. You would remember that people who come into the ANC, some of them still needs to be taken through branch manual inductions and so on and so forth. And at times there's no time because you launch a branch because there's a conference, you launch a branch because there's a policy conference and so on and so forth. But now we're happy because all of these things will be done and over with. So it will give us enough time to prepare ourselves towards policy conference, which the conference will adopt this policy direction. And then by the time we go to BBGMs or branch general meetings to elect delegates towards the national conference, you will see they'll be a bit different.
But will delegates have enough time to actually, discuss policy documents of the ANC to adopt them as well?
Definitely, like I'm saying, we've already done very extreme work whilst we were still, not sure whether we're going to start at 10, we're going to start at 12. We were not just sitting and idling around. There was work done, there were commissions, scribers were busy, extrapolating, because what we wanted to do, Natasha, was to say, in 2018, social transformation cluster, this is what we said must happen. How far are you in terms of tracking what we have done, and what is it that we have achieved, and what is it that we did not achieve? And the focus will be on things that were not achieved from commission to commission. And in the next incoming leadership, what is it that they must do in order to be able to achieve the outstanding, so that we don't want to plan again while we still have outstanding matters, which are from the same ANC. So we said we're going to do 4, we managed to do 2, 1 we did not do, 1 we did not even attempt. What could have been the reason? And then we try and close the door.
Nominations, elections, will they still take place this evening or in the wee hours of the morning?
Everything should be done. Look, like we were saying, once the credentials are adopted, then we will be cruising very nice, because I'm saying organizational report and the treasurer's report will be discussing commissions. So that will help us to save time. So immediately those things are done, we can do the nomination, they can then disband the PEC, and then we can go to commissions, and while they prepare ballots, organizational work will continue. The only thing that we're waiting for is credentials.
And yet again, I'll raise this issue. You promised us that conference will close tomorrow. Tomorrow is a very crucial day as well for the ANC, as it coincides with, the commemoration of the Freedom Charter. Will conference close? We have it on record. You're live on national television. Will conference close tomorrow?
The ANC Gauteng 14th Provincial Conference will have to close tomorrow. There's no any other day. We don't have any other day to spare. Everything should be concluded by tomorrow. When the president arrives here, we should be far ahead with what we wanted to do. Remember, the technicalities, the ups and downs, the stop, go, was precisely to clean credentials. They are clean now. They are presented now. The structures have engaged. Now the decision will be taken to adopt credentials, and then we're done. So we're not going to sleep. No one is going to go home today.
Including us, members of the media.
No, you can go home. We'll update you tomorrow morning when you arrive. But ANC delegates are not going to go home, because they've been saying they're not here to sleep. They're not here to eat. They're here to work. And from after the credentials have been adopted, they must then go to work. All of us are going to work. All of us are going to make sure that when the ANC leaves here tomorrow, it has a leadership, it has a declaration, it has gone to commissions, and it has a direction on what needs to happen, especially when you take into consideration that in the next 2 years we're going to national and provincial government elections.
Mr. Modise, thank you so much. We'll catch up with you in the next hour or so.
Well,
thank you. Well, Peter, Mr. Modise is saying there that delegates of the ANC will not sleep. I can probably say the same for us members of the media. We also won't sleep. It is our duty to actually bring you all the latest in regards to what is happening here, behind closed doors in this plenary. Like you said, like Mr. Modise has said, that these delegates are actually tasked with the issues of credentials right now. Some already in commissions, I beg your pardon. And of course, following that, Peter, will be the nominations and the elections. The results will be announced tomorrow. We do expect ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa to actually come through tomorrow, give his closing address. And of course, tomorrow is a very important day, as it coincides with the commemoration of the Freedom Charter. But Peter, it has been a very long day. If it wasn't delays, it was the the court interdict there that was filed by a member of Ward 83 in Ekurhuleni, Mr. Jabus Tole, who is disgruntled over the issue of the quarantine votes. Of course, the court proceedings are on right now. They're actually virtual, but as Mr. Modise had said, that some ANC members have been tossed to dealing with this issue, specifically the likes of Israel Letswalo, as he's a lawyer for the ANC as well. And in the words of Mr. Modise, it seems as if this interdict will have no bearing or hold no water over this conference. The ANC also earlier on, when speaking to the outgoing chairperson of the ANC, Mr. Makura, saying that this conference will go ahead. And in the words of Mr. Modise, tomorrow conference will close. That is a promise. We heard him here on SABC News and Channel 4 for promising us and your viewers that this conference will go ahead and will close on time, which is tomorrow, Peter.
I guess just before you go, the challenge that the party has is that it's trying to put up its hand and fly the flag, as it were, of a unified party, and talking about a future where they come together and get ready for the national elections that are on the horizon. When we watch what's playing out, the party taking itself to court, it becomes very difficult, I guess, for a watching public to believe that unity is even possible.
Definitely, Peter, and this court interdict, is far from the message of unity. Doesn't actually display unity within the party. But of course, I'm just reminded by what the outgoing chairperson of the ANC, Mr. Makura, had said, that conferences like this aren't only about electing, leaders or individuals here of the ANC, but they really are about, engaging robustly about and around the policies of the ANC, and just reflecting, looking at the party. Did the party actually, do what they said they would, from previous conferences? Did they actually adopt those resolutions? Because, if the ANC actually claims that they are the leader of society, they honestly, Peter, should be, considering and putting the needs of the people of South Africa first. But certainly what we've seen here at the conference does not display that at all. For a party and for a provincial structure of the ANC that actually lost, 3 key metros last year, some critics have been saying that they actually expect much more better from the ANC. And certainly this conduct that we've been seeing here does not display that at all, Peter. So, I think judge for yourself and see for yourself what's going on. But the new elected leadership that will have to actually come out of this conference will have the task, Peter, of actually fixing the organization here within the province, and also fixing the trust deficit between the people, the party and the people of Gauteng. Because honestly, just judging on social media and what people have been saying, their sentiments, people are not happy at all.
Natasha, we'll leave it there. A long night ahead, it looks like. So go get some coffee, energy drinks, rest as much as you can in between the drama. Thanks very much indeed.